So it's good to be able to stand up here again and talk about the M4 project through the lens of impact. As was mentioned yesterday by John, I presented this project first 2 years ago in Brisbane. So the quick outline of these 5 minutes, background to the project, quick refresher of slides that you would have seen before if you've been to previous workshops, a status update, and then impact in 3 very brief parts: collaboration, local impact, and scientific impact. So the background to the project, the slides from 2 years ago were researchers, end users, and the WA government and the local community in Albany have a shared need around wave energy. So researchers to get real life data from the field, end users to understand how they could use wave energy, and the local government the local community to demonstrate that they can be a host and an enabler of this technology. We put together, I guess, a team. This is the project team from within the CRC and partners outside, including the WA government through DPIRD, and coalesced around the M4 technology, so moored multi-mode, multi-body, which has been developed in the UK. So the background that we went through at that time, M4 has good power absorption characteristics, so levelized cost of energy, good survivability, maintainability, deployability, simplicity. But also one of the key things is that essentially it's an open access device to some extent. We can publish the data that we get from it. We can share designs without having to be bound up in IP issues that take a long time. And it's also been well supported around the world. Why Albany? Apart from the fact it's a good place to have a summer school, the Great Southern is a renewable innovator. There's been wind projects in the Great Southern for a long time, so Albany has a large fraction of its energy powered by a wind farm. Significant local aquaculture interests, so a key element is this end user connection. There's a world-class wave resource offshore, but there's also a scaled testing site inside the Sound, which is part of the area controlled by the Southern Ports Authority. And we have an office there, so Marine Energy Research Australia. So the status update, we have a power takeoff, which is coming. It's going to do factory acceptance testing in China at the end of this month. It's then going to come to UWA and we're going to test it and essentially convert it from a system of a couple of motors and generators into something that actually functions as a power takeoff. The contract for the fabrication of M4, the assembly, and the integration is under negotiation now. The environmental approvals, Louise will talk about, so I won't. Through all of this, time and cost are critical at this stage, and it's all in play at the moment. The picture at the bottom there is one of our gearboxes. So that blue item is about 500 kilo gearbox to convert the slow wave oscillation into the fast oscillation that we need to drive the generator. So Impact 1, collaboration. So I'll just very quickly go through the different types of impact that I see in this project. So we've developed collaboration within the CRC, so with partners including AMC, with whom we conducted this tank testing, and also with BMT. So the designs coming from BMT, AMC built it. We had input from the mid-ocean conditions that we collected, including data from Southern Ports, to put that all together in a basin campaign that was conducted in February. We also are developing collaborations outside the CRC, so we're developing a network that didn't exist before. So we have collaborations with the UK where this technology was developed and the power takeoff designed. We've had to go outside to engage some academic support from a partner in RMIT to support our dry testing. We have collaborations on testing sites with partners in Pacific Marine Energy Center in the US. And companies and suppliers. So we've been forced to go outside our usual academic bubble to talk to people who can supply things to us, a range of suppliers, how can it best be done, what's the best solution. And those networks are things we're building up that didn't exist before. So second impact, local impact. So from the very start, we've had very close engagement with Southern Ports, and I hope this has been a very good relationship, one that's going on. The very first day, essentially, we sat down with a map of the Sound and said, where can we go? Where could a wave energy device sit? So this little box here was identified. And I guess that there's been a continuing discussion, and hopefully that's helped us a lot, but hopefully also helped them think about how does wave energy fit into our operations? And for us, how do we fit into the port operations, which are ongoing? Local opportunities. through collaboration, discussions with Jonathan Bilton at the Shellfish Hatchery in Albany, we mentioned we were looking at anchoring solutions in the Sound, and he said, why don't you go and talk to Harvest Road Group, who install helical anchors to anchor their aquaculture facilities in the Sound. So they install anchors like this. We did a trial with this anchor at our site. Ultimately, we aren't going to use this technology for the purposes, for reasons I'll go into slightly later, but we do get some information from this about the geotechnical characteristics, and it's a really interesting technology. Now we're aware that they have this capability, and they're aware that we're actually, or Christoph is, studying this same technology at bigger scale for wind farms. Local industry, so we're planning to fabricate everything locally, so there's an impact in the local supply chain, which was always the intention for this project. Scientific impact. So we have an open philosophy. The data that's collected will be available publicly. There are common questions like how does the performance of the device scale, which is Ben Hur is doing a PhD on, so you can ask him about that one. And if we have that open data, then this is something similar to what Jonathan showed yesterday. So the yellow blobs on the bottom of that chart are solar power over time, and the blue is wave. So the wave is much more consistent, but this is just an estimate, right? We're estimating the performance of the device. If we have publicly available performance data, we can update these estimates and do this better. And then opportunities for optimization. So I think through this process, as I said, time and cost are critical. There are a lot of opportunities to do things better that we've had to leave on the side because they don't fit, we can't do them in time. But all of those opportunities we will capture and can be fed into future optimization. There's a PhD at UQ on some of those optimizations, and hopefully those can be picked up to go forwards. So that's impact in a nutshell for M4. Thanks.